Welcome to Bliss Boss Talks. I'm your host, Jaya Rose, a life coach, speaker, doTERRA team leader, and a mama of two free-spirited girls. And you are in the right place if you are ready to live your dreams without sacrificing your needs. I'm going to be talking to other soulful leaders who are walking the talk, and we are touching on all things personal development, spirituality, and what it really takes to be the boss of your bliss. Are you ready? Let's go. Hey there, and welcome back to Bliss Boss Talks. Today we are talking about 5 ways to expand your capacity to receive. It's such a good and juicy topic, and if it is not juicy, then it's probably not in the right energy to receive, because receiving is a very good, juicy energy. We're going to get into all of that, and I'm going to give you a 5-step process that is super fun and very, very clarifying in terms of being solid in what you desire and really asking for it in a clear way. Okay. I'm going to help you dive deep into that. This is going to be super, super good content. So I want you to have a pen and paper handy. I know I don't ask that of you all the time, but this is one that you are going to probably want to take some notes, even write down this 5-step system or order of steps, because it's the steps and the doing them repetitively and making sure that you don't miss one of them. And have you ever had a desire or a goal that you're trying to reach and feels like you might not be in total alignment? Well, what can happen is that we miss steps. Like maybe at the beginning of your process, you weren't even really clear about what you wanted. Maybe at the beginning of your process, you were clear about what you desired, but you had a shit ton of resistance as you asked for it. And you didn't work through the resistance. Maybe you did some things that I do, like eat chocolate and binge watch The Office. Now that's fine, but if you don't go back and address the resistance, then that's going to be clouding that clear communication to the universe. Yeah? So let me get into this with you, and I'm really going to ask you to think about yourself in this. So I'm going to ask you questions about you, and I want you to bring them to the surface as much as you can and get into that vibration right now. Okay. I'm also going to be sharing with you a story from a client that I had today, because this energy is so ripe and so juicy that I felt it was exactly what she needed, and so did she. And we had this massive transformation. She got on the call with anxiety and with some sabotage happening and really getting in her own way. We got off the call with both of our cells tingling, vibrating at the highest level, and her declaring what she desires from the deepest possible why. Okay. So that is your preface. And now I'm going to dive in. Okay. So here we go. I want you right now to pinpoint what is your desire, because at the top of any goal or desire or want or need, we have to really understand what it is. Because even if you aren't asking someone else for it, you are always speaking clearly to the universe. And the more clear you can be, the more clear your energy will be, the more clear your vibration and your frequency will be. Well, that is the language of the universe. So let's speak that language, yes? What is your top desire right now? Now, this can shift and change, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a process on how to really dive deep into why this is your desire, okay? So what is your top desire right now? Once you have that, then that's the first step, okay? So what is my desire? You can write that down. And the second step is understanding your big why. Now, it's really easy to come up with surface level answers. For example, I want to make $10,000 this month. That is my desire, okay? But for somebody who is possibly empathic, intuitive, highly sensitive like me, you may not connect to making $10,000 on a feeling level. And that's not actually a real aligned desire. It's not the deepest portion of it anyway. So I'm going to give you an example of how to do this exercise called the 7 whys. It's something done that you can do over and over again with anything, okay? So anything you want in your life, you can really start to ask yourself why on a deeper level. And you go through 7 layers. So I'm going to ask you why. Why do you desire making $10,000 in a month? And then you're going to tell me, because I want to help people. And then I'm going to say, why do you want to help people? And then we're going to go all the way down through your deepest layers of why. And so today, when I was on the call with my client, I did ask her if I could talk about her, Jen Kohler. If you guys don't know her, check her out. She is an amazing master Reiki healer. Now, she is my Reiki healer, and so I know her. We know each other really well, and I do believe that's why this was so juicy. So she came to me today feeling tense. She had some external situations happening with a woman who she just felt this negative energy, and she really needed to tap into her throat chakra and express her needs and desires. And I pinpointed that, and we worked through all of that, and we got to the point where then she was able to tap into, well, now what is her real desire? Because when we have stress and anxiety, it will cloud your desires, and all you're speaking to the universe is essentially no. You're speaking protection, right? You're saying, I'm tense, don't allow this in. And so once we worked through all that, we got to her why. And this is what I want to share with you, that the more clear you can be about why you really want to do what you're doing, then the more likely you're going to magnetize that much faster. And so we pinpointed all the way down to why she wants, or rather what she wants to do is create a container of space for the people who she can serve at her highest level and show up in that. Okay, so we started there, and I asked her why. And we went all the way down through her whys to the point where the last why was because she wants to help people take back their power, and she wants to raise the vibration of the planet. And I was like, cha-ching, both of our cells, like I was like hot and tingling, and so was she, and there was so much passion behind what she said. It was a 180 from the energy that she brought onto that call. Now, what do you think is going to happen? Something else really magical, I guarantee you, is going to happen for the rest of the day and for as long as she can hold that energy. So how long can you hold the energy of your deepest desire? Because that is how much information you're going to be giving the universe. And the more information we give and the more consistency we give with a certain vibration, well, then that's when you start getting matched. And so I guarantee you she saw synchronicities today, and her angels were probably cheering her on, saying, yes, this is what we want from everybody. This is what we want. We want you to show up in your highest self, asking for your highest desires and aligning your vibe, your frequency with that. And not just with your words or with your mind, but all the way down through your body. And this needs to become embodied. Hey babe, I hope you're enjoying the show, and I'll let you get right back to it. But remember your free gift, the 7 Steps to Magnetic Embodiment Guidebook. All you need to do is text the word embody to 444-999, or head on over to thejayarose.com and download it there. Either way, you're going to love it. It breaks down my 7-step system for embodying your highest self and magnetizing your dreams to you. So simply text the word embody to 444-999 or head over to thejayarose.com, and I cannot wait to hear what you think about it. All right, enjoy listening. So that is number 2. I hope that gives you an example of the power of this and then how you can do this. So I have used this step in many ways to create clarity. Even when I'm trying to name something, I'll say, well, why do I want to do a podcast? Okay, I want to do a podcast to share my message. Well, why do I want to share my message? I want to share my message because I want to be of service in the world. Why do you want to be of service? Because when I'm of service, I feel valuable. Why do I want to feel valuable? Well, because when I feel valuable, I feel like I'm working at my highest level. Well, why do you want to work at your highest level? Because that's where I can help the most people. Oh, why do you want to help the most people? To raise the vibration of the planet. Can I get an amen? Okay. I pretty much always end up at that one too, which is why I align so deeply with my beautiful soulmate client, Jen Kohler, right? Because we have the same big why. And how powerful is that? Because we become an army of light workers on the same mission. Oh my gosh, so good. Okay. And so this leads to number 3, step number 3. Let me go back through 1 and 2 in case you're writing this down. Number 1 is to be super clear about what you desire. Number 2 is to go through the 7 layers of depth and figure out that big, juicy why. From there, we go to number 3, which is to feel what that feels like. I can easily describe what that feels like when I say, I want to help raise the vibration of the planet. I feel lifted. I feel light. I feel literally like my cells are vibrating at a different rate and frequency. Hello. So good. That's magic, right? And that is where the capacity comes in, where you are going to receive what you desire when you're holding the vibration for as long as you can, for as deeply as you can, for as broad as you can. It's literally like a muscle. I call this portion of this phase of receiving the spiritual plank, because it's like you're holding a plank and you're just holding it, and you don't know how long you can hold it, but every time you do it, you get stronger. And that is what we want. That is what we want from you. And when I say we, I mean like the collective energy of the universe, okay? Just speaking. It's come through me today, okay? And so then step number 4, after we have the feeling, is then we need to notice the resistance and the sabotage and that part of ourself that says, ooh, this is new and different. Does our self, like the other part of ourself that is not our highest self, the ego, does that want new and different? No. No, the ego does not want new and different. The ego wants safety. Safety. Is this safe? Is what you will be asking yourself. And this is where you need to dig deep down into your lower belly, into your root, into the lower chakras, because that's where the energy is going to come to support you and say, this is safe. And you need to tell yourself that and continue through holding on to that vision, that higher vision, because this is where all the sabotage lives, you guys. Oh my gosh. I mentioned it before, but sabotage is like the number one thing keeping highly sensitive, spiritual, empathic, intuitive women who are on a mission, who have a deep desire. The number one thing holding us back is our sabotage. And this is where, when you develop the relationship of understanding that it is going to happen, it is a part of the freaking system, then you get to decide and you get to gain that power and say, okay, I know what this is. What do I choose? And you make the choice to come back to the feelings and act as if. And this, my beautiful friends, is where a lot of people get a little messed up, okay? Because we're holding the spiritual plank, right? This is the holding of the feelings, of the big why, of the desires, holding that. And now we need to go fully into trust. Fully 100% into trust. So be honest. How easily do you let go and trust? Because this is where you get to decide how quickly your desires come to you. I'm just going to give it to you. This is the platter I am serving to you today. It is the awareness and the truth that you are 100% in charge of how you allow in the receiving. Now, the universe will decide when it gets to happen, but you get to decide what part you're going to play in this. And so some of the suggestions I have around this is to build this into your knowing that you will be tested. Now, I've heard a lot of people say, well, the universe doesn't test you, and that's fine. The universe probably is not testing you, but does it feel like a test? Oh, hell yes, it feels like a test. So let's just call it what it is. You will be tested, and it's a test of your trust. It's a trust test. So building this strong relationship with your trust. When I was talking to Jen today, we talked about being in the power of your sacral chakra, which is right above your root, and if you're a woman, is your womb space. And we were talking about how much trust growing a baby and giving birth takes. And your desires and your mission are a lot like that. They're a lot like getting pregnant with an idea, growing the baby, trusting. Now, if you're a mom, think back to when you were pregnant. You might have had some worry or anxiety around, is it going to be okay? But did that consume you? No, because you were too damn busy growing the baby, right? And that's the trust that I'm talking about. The equal trust that this is magic. This I have no control over. I have done what I could. I put the baby in there. I allowed it in, right? I allowed it in, and now I'm going to nurture it while it grows. And that growth does not have anything to do with me, but it does have to do with me holding the space for it and with me believing in it and nurturing it. This is your dream. The same exact thing. This is your dream, and how it is imperative that you think about it. Because if you get to the phase of trust and belief and celebration, don't you get excited? I assume there are a lot of moms in the audience, because you know, and you've seen, if you're not a mom, other women go through this. And isn't it a time for celebration? And don't you or they celebrate the baby before it even comes, like with a blessing way or a baby shower? So doesn't it make sense to assume the freaking baby's going to come out and you're going to celebrate that before it even happens? Ooh, isn't it so good? Isn't it so freaking juicy and good? Because this is the vibration of receiving. These are natural things. We don't need to force this. We don't need to make this happen. We need to set an intention. We need to take action on that intention. And we need to hold the space for growth and hold the space for it to be true and celebrate it as if it's already happened. Okay, so that is number 5. Let me go back through them for you. Okay, number 1, decide what your top desire is. Right now. What is the top desire? What is the big why of that desire? 7 layers deep. Let's go deep. 3, conjure the feelings. Hold the feelings. Hold them as much as you can until you notice the resistance and the sabotage coming in. Number 4. And then work with it. Be kind to yourself. Go back to the root and do your self-care practices, do your positive self-talk, do your affirmations and whatever routines and tools you use to get back, to get grounded. And then you work back up, and we go back through sacral time. Now we're growing, we're celebrating, we're holding the space for it to come to us. And then we get to come all the way up through the energy system where we just are in total devotion. And of course it's happened. And of course these things are meant for me. And we just are, right? The true essence of giving and receiving are all one. This is all just one energy. It's us that puts a definition on it. It's us who gets stuck and who says, well, I never saw that growing up, or I wasn't taught how to do this, right? Raise your hand if that's true. Because that's true for me. I was not taught how to ask for my needs and desires. Quite the opposite. I was taught to put my needs and desires aside so that we could figure out and serve the needs and desires of my sister. She had a harder time asking and figuring out her desires, and I had an easy time. So then I needed to put that aside and be there for her. Well, what that did was it created a really cool thing I have where I know what everybody needs at all fucking times. All times, I know. And yet I had to actually go back and build a new relationship with myself around understanding what I really needed and desired. And then create a new system around that, because my system was a little bit broken, right? And so that's okay if that's happening for you. And if you get triggered at one of these steps, that's okay. This is all opportunity for healing. And it's the healing of these cycles and the healing of your energy system and the way you think and feel about your desires and needs that is going to create a clear pathway. Because otherwise we're just gunked up with these old beliefs that aren't even serving us anymore, right? So my hope for you is that you take this, you apply it to your life. You are super, super kind with yourself. If it doesn't sound quite as easy as Jaya just made it sound, that is okay, because this is a lot of years of practice for me. I just turned 42 last week, and I started all of this when I was 29. So I'm at 13 years of really practicing this. So now you would assume that my muscles are strong, right? And that's what you need to think about. Cool. Either honor where you are. Well, both honor where you are and think about the muscles you've already created, or start today creating these muscles. It is that simple. I'm not going to promise you that it's easy, because you do need to unravel whatever is coming in the way of you really being a clear vessel for your desires. But it is possible. And I guarantee you and promise you that things can be so much easier than you've ever seen them be. They can feel so much more in flow and magnetic, and receiving can just be a natural state of being. I promise you that that is true. And I hope that this touched you exactly in the right moment. And if it did, feel free to share it out with a soul sister who's rising and you're like, she needs to hear this. And otherwise, I will see you very soon next time on Bliss Boss Talks. Bye. Yay. Thanks so much for listening and being here. And if you loved this episode, please take a moment to rate it on iTunes. I feel so honored when I read your reviews, and I would love to feature you on the podcast as a spotlight review. Also, find me on Instagram at Jaya Rose, and I would be so excited to share your story into my story. I just love seeing the feedback and that you're listening. So share it out on social media. Share it with somebody who you think it could benefit, because us showing up for other people is what this is all about. It's a ripple effect of change, and we do that by sharing. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time on Bliss Boss Talks.